This is the Soviet Civil War. My enemies are positioned on a reverse slope. Objective 1 is on the left. Objective 2 is on the right in a city. Buildings where I believe enemy scouts may take up positions are marked in the yellow. My plan is to advance forward with my scouts and a few platoons of mechanized infantry to clear out these buildings. I will then move up my tanks on the left to provide overwatch while my mechanized infantry assault the towns with mortar support. These are my forces, you can pause, and these are the enemy forces. The sun is coming up quicker than I expected, so I'm trying to get my forces into a good position before it happens. One of my platoons dismounts and gets ready to clear that first set of buildings. I'm shelling where I think the enemy scouts might be, and this is on the right side of the map. And that's in the middle of the map right there. Here I have my BMD scanning the left side of the map. My recon helicopters have arrived. This is where they begin shelling my scouts. And this is on the left side of the map. My scouts just about escaped the mortars. And this is on the right side of the map. I'm clearing these buildings. And right about then my scout helicopter gets taken out by AA. Rest in peace. I try to reposition the other one, but it doesn't really help. They can see him. And then I move up my guys to clear on the right side of the map, that little platoon there. Looks like we've spotted some AA. My scouts make it into the building complex. And this guy's, he's gonna eat the dirt too. And here we've spotted some man pads. I'm just marking them. And that's a recoilless rifle right there, I believe. One of my takes is going to take some shots at the enemy's AA. That'll come in handy later, the fact that I took them out early. Beautiful shot here. Look at that. Now my guys are clearing the rest of those buildings on the right side of the map, and my scouts are about to crest the hill on the right side of the map. That's when I think, hey, I'm gonna move up the BMD to help scout. Because my tank fires at those man pads they found. They're in that building right there. And here I'm about to clear these buildings with my platoon of mechanized. I had to move back the BMD on the left because he got hit with something. I don't know what it was. And then one of my BMPs is about to take an ATGM shot at the enemy's other AA. And we got a good shot of that. Boom. And here goes that platoon. Dodging mortars. They got extremely lucky, at least for now. As you can see, at this point I've occupied that complex without any casualties. And I'm popping smoke because there's enemy aircraft coming in. And that's when I lose my first HQ. That's why I always bring a backup HQ. My AA gets some shots in on those planes. And here comes my air support. Now I'm getting ready to move my scouts up into this objective 1 over here on the right side of the map, and that's whenever my air support comes in, my helicopters. By now I've occupied almost all of the outer buildings that I thought might have scouts in them, and they were all empty. Now I'm getting a foothold around objective 1, coming under some fire. That'll be like our first contact. I'm trying to hide from these planes, but a miracle happens. Bam! Got one of them. That's worth losing the AA of. Now, the assault over here for objective 2 is not going nearly as well. I thought I had a good enough smoke screen. I did not. That seems to be a recurring theme with me. I was afraid to move their tanks up, so I moved up an IFV instead and lost it. I didn't want to lose those tanks. I'm calling in mortars on the enemies that have been spotted. We're just doing some house-to-house fighting through the rubble here. Those guys are retreating over there by objective 2. Yeah, that assault pretty much failed, so I'm gonna have to bring up my reserve. Trying to soften them up with some more air support. Very cool. Now I'm coming under fire from RPGs too as I try and move some more vehicles up. Now I have another platoon coming in to help out. The first one's kind of suppressed and they took a few casualties. Yeah, the enemy mortars were very effective. See, I've lost a couple of IFVs over here trying to do some scouting earlier. Here I'm calling in some mortars on the enemies in that objective 1. And now my reserve is coming in for a second assault on objective 2. Hoping this will go better than the first one. Because by now I've taken out one of the recoilless rifles. And there goes another IFV to an enemy RPG. Luckily we've spotted them though, and now I can call in some fire missions. One of my tanks is gonna get some heavy damage. Luckily he can still drive though, not immobilized. Now we're starting to inch forward. I sent forward this IFV to try and find the enemy's mortars and kill them. Now we've taken objective 1. Took out that squad. Now I'm under RPG fire over here on objective 1. With another IFV. And the shit hits the fan. Second assault is underway. This time we've got tank support. The RPGs are still flowing in. Now I'm going to see if I can try and get a little bit closer to the objective. Make it easier to defend against any potential counterattack. Calling in some more airstrikes. Boom. Now we're starting to spot some targets over in the outskirts of Objective 2, so I'll call in some fire missions on them. I went ahead and repositioned one of my BMDs to kind of help support the attack over there. Ended up being a pretty good idea. I think I'm about to, yeah, I lost another BTR. And that's one of the enemy's ATGMs now we're engaging. And that's their other AT gun, I think. Or it might be a mortar. Not sure about that. I'm trying to get my guys up here into cover so we can battle them for the last objective. Moving up my anti-aircraft gun to shoot at him. Ends up being a pretty good idea. Sending this platoon over to help assault objective number 2, and they get stuck. They encounter a couple of enemy infantry squads out there, which I didn't really expect. Look at that. It's like they're shooting at the camera. And here goes the final push. There's some squads holed up in that warehouse, but they're about to just get pummeled. Now I call one of the platoons from Objective 1 to go help take Objective 2. And they're going to run into some enemies out in the open and lose an IFE. but no worries. That enemy squad's gonna pay dearly. Bad day to be those guys. Finally, they get taken out by the anti-aircraft gun. And we run into some more guys in that little tree line up there. Once again, wiped out by pretty much my whole army. The hardest part really was getting across that open field. There wasn't a whole lot I could have done. I couldn't move my mortars up any further, so I could have put some more smoke down, and I could have risked my tanks instead of like all of my infantry and stuff, but you know, the carnage for that first attack. It ended up working out though. That is considered a major victory, which you're about to see here in just a second. Dun-da-da. Not too bad. I wish I would have lost about 4 less vehicles and about 15 or 20 less infantry. And there goes that first attack. That was terrible. See, I'm not the best at like Soviet attacks. I'm really not. But I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe.